Since we are committed to this relationship for life, we might as well find things that'll make it work. Not focus on the negative aspects of each other. Some mothers have been given by God daughters that have emotional, physical, mental challenges, and getting along with them can be very difficult. We need to understand and be students of our daughters' personalities, and they of us. And as Kelly grew up, I began to realize she and I are complete opposites. Kelly's opinionated, competitive. She sees things very black and white. She's hardworking. She can be a little sassy. She's very organized. I, on the other hand, am much more impulsive. Relationships are much more important than tasks. I don't always see things in black and white, much in pictures, various shades of color for me. I'm a dreamer. I'm not really competitive. I don't mind if you win, which makes Kelly crazy. Come to find out, Kelly is very much like her dad, and I am actually much more like Mike, who Kelly married. Bethany, who I've come to love and appreciate, she's spunky and passionate and dramatic and determined and hilarious. We are all so different, and I know that's true for your relationships too. But I am grateful and appreciate the differences we have. And maybe that's the reason why we do get along so well. I think it could be helpful and fun for you and your daughter to take a personality or a temperament test and see how you are the same and different. There's several one of those online that you can find. The goal is to understand your daughter, make connections with her, reassure her that you are committed to this relationship forever, regardless of how similar and how different you might be. I want you to listen to this statement. It's very important to embrace who they are and not who you wish they were. Let me say it one more time. It's very important that you embrace who they are and not who you wish they were. I'm aware that this commitment can be very challenging, and you may go through difficulties of sickness, pain, endless doctor's visits, many misunderstandings. It can take huge amounts of time and energy, but keep in mind that this is my priority. I will be committed to this relationship until I die. The second word I want you to think about, C, is communication. And I just have the visual of my cell phone because I use it a lot. It's so important to keep those lines of communication open, but how? How much? What to say? What not to say? You know, in 1952, when my mother said goodbye to her mother and went to Brazil as a missionary, there was none of the communication we have. All they had were airmail letters, which took 2 weeks to get to the destinations on either end. They had no emails. They didn't even do phone calls. And yet they had a very strong, loving relationship. Weekly letters. Today, I can text and call my daughter, my daughter-in-law every day, which I do. This can be great to strengthen a relationship, but it also, I think, needs its boundaries. And I just have some bullet points that might be helpful for some of these boundaries that we need. Number one, I think it's important to not overload your daughter with all your personal problems. Your daughter wants to know that you're okay. And 1 Peter 5:7 tells us to cast all our anxieties on him. He will care for you. Number two, be careful not to be spreading gossip and putting people down when you're talking to each other. Instead, build each other up. Have uplifting conversations. Ephesians 5:4 says, no obscene stories, no foolish talk, no coarse joking. Kind of interesting, huh? Number three, this is obvious. Have respect for each other and for each other's husbands. Number four, when you're angry with each other, which happens, let no unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, the Bible says. And be careful not to take things too personally. You will regularly have differences and little offenses, Give them the benefit of the doubt and don't hang on to these things. I know mothers and daughters who hurt each other and then might not speak for weeks to each other. And all I can say is I'm so grateful that God doesn't treat me like that, because I know I offend him all the time. So forgive quickly. Tomorrow's a new day. And if you've known me longer than a couple weeks, you've heard me talk about my shiny yellow slicker. Have you ever heard me talk about my yellow slicker? This can work in just about any relationship, but it's certainly true about mothers and daughters. When those words are spoken that are hurtful and sarcastic and unkind, you know what I do? I get my mental shiny yellow slicker and I put that thing on, button it up, put the hood up over my head, and I let it run off. I just let it slide off. The people you love the most sometimes can hurt you the most, right? But if you put that yellow slicker on, and I know that my identity is what God says about me, not what anybody else says about me, it just helps me to just let it slide. So in my mind, putting on that yellow slicker, and then we can go on. Remember, you're committed to this relationship, so you gotta make it work. Romans 12:14 says, make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Colossians 3:13 says, make allowance for each other's faults. Don't you love that? Forgive anyone who offends you. And then number 5, avoid telling your adult daughter what to do. You shouldn't eat that, honey. I don't think you should be going there. Are you taking your vitamins? Don't dress like that. That's just not good on you. We'll talk a little bit more about that on my next point. And the 6th is listen, listen, listen. Without passing judgment. Listen from their point of view. Your daughter won't want to talk to you if you only want to tell her what you think. And sometimes it's best just to be quiet. Proverbs 21:23 says, watch your tongue, keep your mouth shut, and you will stay out of trouble. Amen. Several ways that we communicate is I do call my mother every morning at 9 o'clock. We have a little call time. And then I try to visit, even she has a full-time caregiver now, but I try to visit her every afternoon just to chat and let her know that I love her. And then Kelly and Bethany and I communicate a lot through our text messages. We have a group text, updates with pictures and verses and funnies. We sometimes will go out to dinner, just the 3 of us, so that we can catch up with no kids. We've done lots of dinners celebrating birthdays or just to chat. Last year, the 3 of us, we took a trip to Florida and we spent 3 full days together, talking, eating, praying, reading, laughing. What a fantastic time. We can't wait to do that again. We support each other's endeavors. Sometimes we're reading the same book and we'll discuss it. We share recipes. I've had the privilege of co-leading Bible studies with Kelly and Bethany, and years ago with my mom. And that's a fantastic way to learn and grow together spiritually as we communicated with each other about the lessons that we were teaching. Third word is the word control. And that's where, what's this? A kite, and it has a what? A string, right? It's got a long string. We have a lot of control over our babies when they're tiny. We control everything, what they eat, what they wear, their schedules, their friends. And every year they live, we have a little less control. Think of this kite on a string. There are milestones that you will see the string being let go more and more and more. The day they go off to school, the day they get their driver's license, they go to college, they get married, they move away. They fly on their own. This is very difficult for some moms. I guess I had a pretty good example with my mom, who I left home and went 6,000 miles away to go to college. Let that string go. They really didn't know what I was doing on a regular basis. I didn't know who I was dating, where I was on the weekends. They completely let me go into God's hands because they knew I belonged to Him and they trusted my judgment. When Kelly graduated from college, she wanted to teach overseas in Portugal. Let that string go. I knew she loved the Lord and I trusted her judgment. God was in control, not me anymore. She spent a year there and we communicated by emails and phone calls and letters. I was excited to see what God was going to do in and through her. I think, maybe you'll agree with me here, I think the hardest time to parent your child is between the ages of about 17, 18 to 23. That's when what are my responsibilities really as a mom? We need to learn how to release that control in a healthy manner. They need their own friends. I don't really need to be their best friend. But you might say, what if my adult daughter makes a mistake? And what if she stops going to church? And what if she's dating a loser? And what if she's not disciplining her children correctly? And my advice is to let it go. Let it go. You can give a word of counsel for sure, perhaps, but don't keep bringing it up. You will alienate your daughter if you demand she behave a certain way. You're not the boss of her anymore. You can put picture 5 up. My job now is to become their prayer warrior, to encourage, and to show continuous unconditional love. My job now with adult daughters is to be their prayer warrior, to encourage, and to show continuous unconditional love. Last picture. As adults, they're on their own now in their journeys. And as her mom, I will be committed to her till I die. I will try very hard to keep lines of communication open, and I will release the control into God's hands, and I believe our friendship will grow, even to the next generation. Thank you.